There are stages in a client's life where we have to look at actually dialing down the risk. I'll give you an example. The 3 years prior to somebody retiring and the 3 years or so after they retire, it's probably one of the times in an investor's life where they need to be the most conservative. And it may not make sense intuitively, but the fact is that's a time in life where you can't make a mistake. You can't be wrong and have a portfolio down 30 or 25, 20%, because it's a time where you're starting to pull money out of the portfolio to live. And, it just means that not only is the market down, but you're pulling money out. And so you've got a very large hole to dig out of. So as investors, we look at that period as one where let's look at as very stable types of investments, things that we can count on in most environments. And fixed income often is that. We're going to have years like last year where one wouldn't have predicted that. Just kind of the perfect storm. But in periods like I suggested, pre and post retirement, we need to think in terms of stability in a portfolio. As one moves into retirement, farther and farther into retirement, we can begin to put more growth into the portfolio. We have a feeling, a longer feeling for how long that portfolio needs to last and who is going to be the beneficiary of that portfolio. We can begin to look at things like that and determine whether we can add a little bit more risk to the portfolio, even though the investor is getting older.
Now, Janet, I think what's a really interesting concept there is that while that's an investment discussion and those are investment implementation conversations, all of that comes from a planning process, right? You don't know if you have enough, right? Until you go through that planning process to describe well, what is enough for me? What income need do I have? Okay, now that I'm comfortable and that I've secured it, or maybe not, and you got to go back to the drawing board, but at least you have that clarity and confidence. Hey, I know where I'm at. I know where I stand financially and kind of what that means for me going forward. So it allows you to have a lot more clarity in the decisions that you're making and confidence, just knowing that. And that comes through planning, not necessarily just investment portfolio management.